So Harry, how does this batch of yearlings compare to those of previous years?
It's so exciting when you start the sales round. It's a real slog, and it's a huge process, and you've got to get through something like 2,000 horses to get the 16 that we bought for Highclere, and it's not until you've bought that last horse that you actually can really concentrate fully on the animals. And having had our first parade here, a couple of days ago, I mean, it was unbelievably exciting. We're really thrilled with what we've got, and they certainly compare to any previous year.
Has it been a success so far?
It really has, and you come into these yearling parades with a little bit of fear and trepidation. As the more you read about poor economic news throughout the world and markets crashing, and then you have to look at the weather forecast and you see that there's a sort of the end of hurricane whatever coming in from the Atlantic. It's a very scary time, but over the years we've been really blessed with good weather during mid-October, and you can see today it's an unbelievable day again, clear blue skies, and showing off beautiful yearlings in autumn sunshine with no wind is just what the doctor ordered.
Now 2010 is a pretty hard year to top, but you have had an exciting season with Census and the likes of Firebeam.
Very much so. It was always going to be a struggle to pull off the same prize money earnings as last year, and maybe wins. And I think it's been a trickier year this year for everyone ground-wise. This extraordinary change in ground and has made placing horses very difficult. But no, it's not been bad at all. They've got prize money earnings of just under 400,000 and 24, I think, wins on the board. And as always, could do better. Love to have had Harbinger for this year, or have discovered another one, but hopefully the next one's in this current batch.
And what's next for Census?
Well, Census is in great form. We gelded him, so there were no more races this year, and he will go into next year having had a nice rest back here at Highclere, and we will probably aim him at the John Porter, I would think. So it looks the perfect sort of race for him. The Ledger he ran really well in. It was just too quick, that ground, for him, lightning quick, and Hughesy just said he didn't quite let himself go as much as he would do on better ground. So really exciting prospect, and hopefully a Group 2 or, dare I say it, Group 1 win in the offing next year.
And you've got the very striking filly Enetrabil as well, who ran a blinder at Royal Ascot.
She's a lovely filly, she really is. She's a beautiful filly. She's a very big filly, and it was extraordinary that she was as precocious as she was, being the size she is. But we could see very clearly at Salisbury, where she ran last time, that she was just going over the top then. So she's also back here at Highclere, going to have a lovely rest and get her head down into some grass and come back and hopefully win a black type race next year.
Pepe Simo was a nice winner at Kempton on Sunday. He looks a good prospect for the jump season.
Yeah, it was so exciting seeing him get off to such a great start to his current campaign. He's a really bonny horse that's improved physically since we first bought him, and Paul Nicholls always said he would, and he loves this slightly quicker ground, so we've got to literally make hay while the sun shines, as it were, and Paul's talking about possibly running him at Ascot or possibly at Wincanton, and it's this decision now whether to run him back in a hurdles race or whether to go chasing with him again. So great start, and we've been parading Ranjan here, who's our lovely new hurdling prospect that we bought from the Aga Khan's dispersal, and he was really well received here at the parades, and fully subscribed now, which is great, and hopefully he'll start possibly around the Hennessy meeting in a novice hurdle there.
So what a fantastic day for the promotion of ownership.
It's been a brilliant day, fantastic weather, but also what fine horses we've seen. And from my perspective, I'm a complete horsing novice, but in terms of the animal, the physical capacity of what you can only compare is, to me, is like an athlete. The training that goes into making such an incredible racehorse, and the breeding and what goes behind that, I found it completely riveting and fascinating.
And are you generally quite interested in racing?
I watch occasionally, and I used to watch a lot when I was a child, but once my athletic career took over, it was all athletics. But since I've been, sort of watching again, my husband's into racing, and he's friends with the Warrens. It's just been really interesting to see just their stables and their stud, and how the selection process goes about. And I've just seen some beautiful, beautiful horses today.
And has it inspired you to own racehorses?
This could be really addictive. I think, once you've touched a horse, and I've been an athlete all my life, and I understand the training and what it takes to get into race day, to be in race mode. I think those things, I could really relate to, and really, if I could part with some money, I would.
And I know you're involved with promotion of athletics. How do you think racing could be promoted better to a younger market?
I think the first thing that needs to be done is you need more children coming through the stables, actually getting an understanding and an appreciation for the temperament of a horse, and not just eliminating that fear factor. I think if you get more children through the door, get them to understand, what racing's about, I think they would fall instantly in love with this sport.
So we could see you as an owner in time to come?
I'd like to.
So what a fantastic day for the promotion of the ownership of a racehorse.
Yeah, well, it was just an amazing day. First of all, we were blessed with the weather, but this setting is Highclere stud is amazing, just phenomenal. And yet it's so close to the metropolis. It's only an hour away, an hour and a bit. London, as in being the metropolis. So it's a beautiful place, and it's such a lovely day. And we had a lovely breakfast, and now we're going to have some lunch. It's fantastic. And what I liked more than anything else was Harry Herbert's performance. He should be a stand-up comic. He was brilliant. And Johnny Warren's sort of explanation of the athlete, what you're looking for, size and sort of bulk and its lines and all that. Really, really fascinating stuff. Very much like training. Very much, if you take the brain away, it's very much like an athlete. And Brian, who's one of the hands in Highclere, was explaining to me different things about it. So I'm a fairly much a greenhorn, and that's the way I like to keep it as far as horses are concerned, because I know, Tina, that I could be obsessed with the whole thing. So I'm keeping my distance, particularly as I'm not flush at the moment with money. I'm being facetious, but I don't want to get involved too early. But it's undoubtedly a very attractive sport, very interesting, and maybe it's the nature of the Irish. We're inherently into horses in general, but the whole process of what you're looking for, training, shape, preparation, everything it's a very interesting subject.
Have you had a keen interest in racing throughout your life?
No, it's new. It's definitely new, because the problem with being an athlete and then moving straight into sort of commentary and analysis and journalism and writing about the sport, and then I just managed to get a hold of 3 fighters I sort of resisted looking after and managing. I was asked by hundreds of fighters down through the years to look after them and manage them and train them and all that sort of stuff. So when you put all that together, it doesn't really leave you enough time to do other things. And so whilst I've admired horse racing in the distance and know JP and all the Irish guys, I've kept my distance for a reason. But Harry and Chica Herbert have changed my mind somewhat, and they keep dragging me in to see these things, and they know that I'm getting addicted. So at some stage I'm going to take the plunge, but I'm trying to hold it at bay for a while, Tina.
The trainers are Andrew Balding and Roger
So is this your first foray into racehorse ownership?
No, it isn't, not at all. I've been at that precipice many times, but I'm not an owner at the moment. So coming here, I know it was inevitable that they were going to have some fantastic looking horses, and they have.
Are there any in particular that caught your eye?
Oh yes, there's a couple. There was the last one, which was just impeccably bred, with Galileo's saddles well in the dancer line. But the Shamadal, I love the Shamadal that's going to Henry. I thought that was beautiful. John's point about having the horse look very like its sire is such a good point. And I was lucky enough a couple of years ago to do the stallion parade at the Darley stud and hold the microphone. I was just like a kid in a candy store, and it was a bit like the Manduro, the Shamadal, the new approach. It's so like their dads. Yeah, stunning.
And Camford Cliff's half-brothers here today as well.
I know. Oh, well, that's I've got a chum here who's just thought that was the most beautiful horse to see. So yeah.
Are you a regular race goer?
Not as regular as I'd like at the moment. Work has made it so difficult. But I missed the Cheltenham meeting, and being local there now, I was very disappointed with that at the weekend. But yeah, when I can.
And finally, how do you think we could attract more people into ownership?
To ownership? Well, I think despite the prices going up at the sales this year, maybe drop the prices a little bit. I think the most important thing is prize money. I think this country is, again, somehow, who runs the prize money? How does it get there? Nobody seems to know. Well, I don't. I mean, of course there are people who know, I understand that, but I haven't figured out the way it properly gets there. And if it's to do with the levy, then we should be levying more. You know, that's how bookies make their money. They put some back into it. I know they put a lot back into it, but I think it's a delicate balance that has to be bigger. Otherwise, we'll lose our better horses, we'll lose our better races, you know. And I think it needs a greater prize money.